Hello, Sat Sri Akal to all of you. These are the latest processing times for Canadian visas. Well, let's have a look. So, for student permits, it's usually somewhere about 6 weeks right now. So, it's not so much country specific, but if you are going through the SDS stream, it's about 20 to 30 days, somewhere about that. Now let's kind of move forward. Depends, for this study permit, it's outside from Canada. So, if you're living out of Canada and you're applying for the study permit, expect somewhere about 6 weeks for your file to be processed. Now, for visitor visas, if you're applying from India, so, if you're applying from India itself and you're applying for a visitor visa, expect about 32 days for the file to be processed. Okay, so you might have to give your fingerprints, but it depends, if you've applied in the past or not. So do kind of keep in mind that processing times, they do not include time it takes to send an application between a visa application center and the office, as well as its biometrics. So this is solely how much time they take to process the visas. For Nepal, it's taking about 33 days. And if you're applying from outside of Canada, so, you can expect 33 days before the file is processed. Moving forward, for Bangladesh, I've got a lot of viewers who are from there. If you're applying for a temporary visitor visa from Bangladesh, you can expect about 81 days for the file to be processed. It's a little bit longer than India, and it's kind of like a trend that I've seen that's been happening in the past as well. For Pakistan, it's taking about 75 days, somewhat close to what people from Bangladesh have to kind of wait as well. So applying for visitor visa, applying from Pakistan, it's taken about 75 days. For Uzbekistan, it's taken about 358 days if you want to apply for a visitor visa and you're living in Uzbekistan and you're applying there. So a lot of you guys are from there. So, do keep in mind, plan ahead of time, and then, apply for your visa as such. For those of you from Sri Lanka, it's taken about 75 days to process the visitor visa, and if you're applying from Sri Lanka, so so roughly give or take 75 days. From UAE, it's taken about 398 days, so roughly 400 days there. And again, if you're applying for whatever you might be for the visitor visa, it's taken that much time, so keep that in mind. Okay. Let's talk about work permits. So, LMIAs, work permits, in different job industries and such. Let's look at processing times for that. So if you're applying work permit from India and you're applying from outside of Canada, you can expect about 8 weeks processing time. That's how long it's taking. And do note, they are prioritizing applications for essential occupations, okay? If you are applying from Pakistan, it's taken about 22 weeks. So it's a little bit longer than India. So do keep in mind. And if it's like outside of Canada, right? For Nepal, it's about 8 weeks. So plan ahead and apply as much, okay? So do keep in mind, it's taken about 8 weeks, and they will be prioritizing applications for essential occupations as well, okay? For Bangladesh, it's about 12 weeks. So keep that in mind. For UAE, it's taken about 24 weeks for the visa to be processed. So, that's kind of something to keep in mind there. And finally, for Uzbekistan, same. It's taken about 26 weeks. So there you go. Now you know what the processing times are like for the Canadian visas, for the study permits, and, just the temporary residences. If you have any questions, drop them in the comments. We'll get back to you. Hope you enjoyed this. See you in the next one.